Now, I've been looking into this more and more. I just watched a Fox News documentary that seemed to correlate with the start of this whole thing. And there's a couple of really interesting kind of moving parts that I see to all of this that's going on. First of all, you know, there's this massive multi-year, arguably generational drought that's been going on out west. And when drought happens, you can have a much smaller number, fewer cattle on the same amount of land. Because I mean, they're ruminants. They're going around eating anything that's got any moisture in it, and if you got a drought, there's not much left. And so the overgrazing starts happening really, really rapidly, and we're seeing ranches that are managed by the Bureau of Land Management around the country. In many cases, the BLM is coming in and saying, we're dialing back. And I don't see anybody talking about this as a global warming issue, but I'll bet you it is. And I'll bet you that the administration and the BLM and the powers that be and whatnot are reluctant to talk about it in those terms, because that's a whole other thing that the right wing will blow. You're taking a conspiracy theory about global warming and using it to take my cattle away or my grazing rights away. So, number one. And then number two, this meme. I've been reading right-wing websites for the last couple of days. Wow. And there is a really well-done video out there that has just absolutely gone viral. And it's got, this kind of sky over a old grainy film effect and a guy with a very credible, very professional voice saying, there's some crazy conspiracy theories out here. And then he names a couple of them, and he says, we should just set that stuff aside because we lose credibility. But what about the stuff that might actually be true? And then he builds this really seemingly credible and compelling case saying, let's look at Reuters and CBS News and what the BLM said on their own website. And builds this case that the Bundys that the Bundy Ranch is losing their rights to graze cattle on federal land because Harry Reid's son is a lobbyist for a solar company, and they have leased land from the BLM or from the federal government anyway. And so this is all about the Reid family getting rich. This video is a very, very personal attack on Harry Reid. And I'll bet you there's not a right-winger involved in this thing who hasn't seen it. And the production values on it, I'm looking at this thing going, who's got the time or money to do something this good? This is really well done. And it looks a little homemade, but anybody who's ever been involved in video production, one of the things you learn is that to make something look like it was just thrown together can be the most expensive way to do it. If you're, with a good production quality, the production quality on this is stunning. And all this stuff about and by the way, it's not true. I mean, first of all, yeah, his son did represent a solar company. They were negotiating for some land, but it was 35 miles away from this ranch. It was a whole different place. They somehow neglect to point that out. And the deal fell through. And all of that was relatively recent, and this family has not been paying. Well, they were ordered off the land back in 98. That was 16 years ago. Long before Harry Reid's son even ever got involved in the solar business. Long before the Chinese solar companies were even around. One has nothing to do with the other. Even Snopes has now debunked this. But right after Harry Reid started attacking the Koch brothers, from the floor of the Senate, this really slick production came out and went viral about how it's all about Harry Reid getting rich or his family. So this is the new form of corruption. You don't just give money to a politician, you give it to their brothers and their sisters and their family. And I'm not suggesting the Koch brothers funded or financed or decided to do this video. But the timing is just really weird. And the message is really weird. And then on top of that, you got Sean Hannity out there basically getting ready for a war. How long is that mashup? Do we have time right now? No, we don't. Okay, I got it. Sean Hannity last night had Cliven Bundy on and had his son on too, didn't he? And he was saying to his son, what are you going to do if the federal officials come in the middle of the night with, presumably with guns drawn? How are you going to protect your father? Basically, he was asking, will you please on the air tell everybody you're going to start shooting at federal officials? And he was going all Elian Gonzalez on him. This thing is getting larger and more complicated, and well, we'll see where it goes.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
But I think it's a symptom of how very powerful interests can distort the public discourse very easily.